you.
Don't worry, girl. I'll tell you the secret.
You have to tell me the secret.
I will tell you the
My,
secret.
I'm so happy to have you here. I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness.
Ooh.
The radio queen, bubbly, everything, energetic. Oh my God, I love you so much.
I have to say congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Well done, my little sister. You've done very well for yourself.
Oh
very
my
well.
God, this is
I'm
my
very
moment,
happy
guys.
to be
This
here.
is my moment. Do you know, I want to make you happy a little bit. Listen to this.
Yes. Big shout out to you, Kenwa Maria. Kenwa Maria.
So guys, this actually happens to be Sessa's most favorite tune.
It's my ringtone.
It's your ringtone.
Everybody thinks they have called a border guy or a kamamamboga. You know, my girlfriend told me, you need to change your ringtone. It's not professional.
It's not professional.
I told her, deal with it.
Deal with it.
Just deal with it.
Tonight we have the chair lady in the building. I'm so happy to have you here,
Nice
sis.
to have you too.
Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Do you know what? I'll tell you a very interesting story of how I saw you the first time. 20th century. I saw you and I was like, oh, there she is. I was so little. I was like, that is my...
What, was it the time I walked into the glass door? No, it wasn't that time.
It wasn't that time. All right, guys, as you can see, we have Sess in the building. Let's get to the highlights. Fourteen people have died in 3 separate road accidents reported within the last 24 hours in Kiambu and Kirinyaga counties.
Kuna pickup ilikuwa imetoka mbili ikielekea pande hii ya Kalucho. Na wakati ilifika kwa hii mlima baada ya kuvuka daraja ilishindwa kupanda mlima, ikarudi rivers, ikateleza mpaka ikaingia kwa mto.
A Ministry of Defense investigation into the helicopter crash that claimed the life of the Chief of Defense Forces, General Francis Ogola, and 9 others has revealed that engine failure was the cause of the fatal incident. The report rules out pilot error, clearing both Major George Benson Magondu, the pilot, and Captain Sora Muhammad, the co-pilot, of any wrongdoing. The Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal of Ruth Kamande, affirming her sentence for the 2015 murder of her boyfriend, Farid Mohammed. Kamande was convicted of stabbing Mohammed 22 times in their Buruburu home. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Our sign and language interpreter is Rhoda Nyamai. Well, we begin with some tough news, and 7 people have died in a tragic road crash along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway just a day after 5 others were killed in an accident that occurred less than a kilometer from today's scene. Now, the latest incident involved a public service vehicle whose driver reportedly lost control, leading to the deadly collision. Now, in a separate incident, 2 more people lost their lives after their pickup truck plunged into the river Nyamindi. The disturbing back-to-back accidents have once again raised concerns over road safety across the country. Elizabeth Atino now tells us more.
This is the wreckage of a 14-seater matatu that has since claimed the lives of 7, leaving survivors with serious injuries. The grisly accident occurred at Kamandura Junction along Nairobi-Nakuru Highway after the driver lost control, causing the matatu to roll multiple times before it veered off the road.
5 female adults died on the spot, all together with 2 juvenile.
Sana zinasababishwa na madereva wanaenda kwa spidi ya hali ya juu sana na wengine wako kwa simu sao.
At the Tigoni Level 4 hospital, doctors and nurses are pacing through the hospital's corridor as they seek to save the lives of those injured from the accident.
Ya nyuma, so nikapata kuna majamaa wanajaribu kung'oa hiyo mlango didisha, ndio sasa wakanitolea hapo. Then wakaendelea kusaidia watu wengine. Then we were put in one of the vehicles from Likana Sacco, ndio ikatuleta hospital.
The accident comes hours after another that occurred nearby when a private vehicle, which was operating as a public service vehicle, suffered a tire burst, veered off the road and plunged into a ditch, killing 3 people on the spot. 2 more passengers later died while undergoing treatment at Tigoni Hospital.
Yesterday as well, at around 1 a.m., we got an accident at Manguo area where we lost another 3 more lives on the spot. The driver escaped. We are still in search of him.
Elsewhere, a cloud of darkness is hovering around River Nyamindi in Kirinyaga County after 2 people lost their lives after their pickup plunged into the river. 3 people managed to jump out of the vehicle, which started skidding back into the river shortly after crossing Kaboro Bridge.
Tumeweza kutoa hiyo gari kwa mto, lakini hatujaweza kupata mwili yoyote kutoka kwa gari. Juhudi za kutafuta miili ya watu wawili ambao wanasemekana walikuwa kwa gari zinaendelea saa hii.
The 2 bodies were retrieved at 12 p.m. Friday. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
Now, former Miss Langata Women's Prison Ruth Kamande will continue serving a life sentence after the Supreme Court of Kenya dismissed her final appeal. Now, Kamande had sought to introduce the battered woman syndrome as part of her defense, but the court ruled that this argument was not raised during her original trial or at the Court of Appeal. Now, the Supreme Court noted that such a crucial issue cannot be brought up for the first time during the appeal certification stage. Now, the court also emphasized that Kamande did not mention being in an abusive relationship during his sentencing, mitigation casting further doubt on her new claims. Take a look.
Ruth Kamande, the former Miss Langata Women's Prison who rose to national attention in 2015, has suffered a legal setback after the Supreme Court of Kenya dismissed her appeal. Kamande will now serve her life sentence for the murder of her boyfriend Farid Mohammed. In a landmark ruling delivered on Friday, a bench led by Chief Justice Martha Koome noted that Kamande had introduced new arguments that were not raised during her initial trial or at the Court of Appeal. While her case raised issues of general public interest, the court held that they could not form the basis for a fresh hearing. Kamande's appeal was anchored on the claim that the Court of Appeal failed to consider and apply the battered woman syndrome doctrine when assessing whether her actions could be justified as self-defense. However, the judges found that Kamande's own testimony contradicted this claim. Her statements portrayed a conventional romantic relationship rather than one marked by abuse or sustained violence, casting doubt on the applicability of the battered woman defense. The court emphasized that the question of whether battered woman syndrome was adequately presented and examined during the trial was crucial, but Kamande's arguments on this point came too late in the legal process. The incident occurred on September 20, 2015 at Buruburu Estate in Nairobi County, where Kamande fatally stabbed her boyfriend Farid Mohammed Halim 25 times during a domestic dispute. At the time, the two were in a romantic relationship. On May 31, 2018, the High Court found Kamande guilty of murder, ruling that the prosecution had proven beyond reasonable doubt that she had intended to inflict serious harm or cause death. With the Supreme Court's decision, Ruth Kamande's fate is now sealed. Her life sentence stands and she will remain behind bars. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, the controversy surrounding Echoes of War, a bold play by Butere Girls High School, continues to draw national attention. Now, government officials have now come out to deny claims that they feel threatened by the performance, which was barred from being staged at the National Drama Festival. Now, they insist that the government values, supports freedom of expression and is not in the business of silencing voices or censoring the arts, as Samira Mohammed reports. While some opposition leaders have criticized the incident, saying the move to block the performance was a blow to creative freedom.
From shackles of doom to echoes of woe, former Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala's script is yet making headlines in the country.
Nashikwa hawaniambi jambo lolote.
Today, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has dismissed reports that the government is threatened by Echoes of Woe, the controversial play by Butere Girls High School.
I don't think William Ruto or any government official, President William Ruto or any government official, is going to be threatened by a play.
What appears to be irony is the stance taken by the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who appears to have switched from a cheerleader to a critic of Malala's art. In 2013, Murkomen supported the then controversial play Shackles of Doom, scripted by Malala and performed by Butere Girls students, with the Interior boss now condemning Echoes of Woe, claiming that political plays have no place in school.
I saw some people sharing what I tweeted in 2013. And remember, I was in government that time, in 2013. These people were in opposition, so it was not an issue. What I said then was that this script has received publicity, it can be discussed. This one also received publicity, but in the wrong way.
According to Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba, Butere Girls High School had been instructed to expand certain sections of the play in the earlier stages of the competition, allowing it to progress to the national level. Ogamba also reiterated that the government is not to be blamed for the drama witnessed in Nakuru, but the play's deep messages laced with politics and led to the dramatic events witnessed yesterday.
The content of the play was altered along the way. That's how, at the regional level, it was not allowed to proceed. But when they went to court, the court allowed them to present the original, not the altered.
This is a section of opposition leaders led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka have condemned the acts that saw students from Butere Girls fail to perform their play at this year's National Drama Festivals in Nakuru.
Security agents acting on orders from above lobbed tear gas at young students of Butere Girls High School and members of the press at the National Drama Festival in Nakuru. It is an act of criminality.
Samira Mohammed for TV47, Nairobi.
Now, the final report on the helicopter crash that tragically killed the former Chief of Defense Forces and several other senior military officials has officially been released today by the Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya. She handed the findings to President William Ruto at State House. Now, the report sheds light on what went wrong during the ill-fated flight, and this report has actually been produced by Mike Chalo. Take a look.
It has been nearly a year of anxious waiting for the official report on the helicopter crash that involved the late Chief of Defense Forces, General Francis Ogola. That report was today officially presented to President William Ruto at State House, Nairobi, by Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya. She was accompanied by current Chief of Defense Forces, General Charles Kahariri, his Deputy Lieutenant General John Omenda, and Air Force Commander Major General Fatuma Hamid. According to the report, the helicopter model Bell UH-1 with registration number KAF 1501 that claimed the lives of General Ogola and 9 other officers crashed after its engine failed mid-air in Elgeyo Marakwet County. The report, which includes testimonies from 12 witnesses, confirmed that although the helicopter had been in service for the same time, used both for transporting high-ranking government officials and in military training, it was deemed airworthy at the time of the flight. Additionally, the report states that the pilots were highly experienced and reputable with the Kenya Air Force. Eyewitnesses, including a military photographer who survived the crash, said the helicopter's engine cut off mid-flight, and despite the pilot's efforts to manage the situation, the aircraft went down. The report also dismisses earlier claims that the crash was caused by bad weather or communication failures. It confirms that the weather conditions were favorable and the aircraft maintained stable communication with relevant control centers. What remains now is for President William Ruto to submit the report to Parliament for further verification.
Now, tonight, former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka led former state officers who served under the country's third president, Mwai Kibaki, to honor his legacy, which leaders said has shaped the country's economy and is worth emulating. Now, leaders who spoke at the second Mwai Kibaki Memorial Lecture, among them the former DP, Rigathi Gachagua, and other opposition leaders, praised Kibaki's people-friendly policies that they say are actually better compared to the current President William Ruto's administration. Apollo Kamau has the details.
12 years after he exited power and 3 years after his death, the country's third president, Emilio Mwai Kibaki's legacy still continues to loom large. Former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, who served under Mwai Kibaki, and Kibaki's head of the public service, Francis Muthaura, spoke fondly of Kibaki on how he ran his government and his people-friendly policies that are worth emulating, and a lesson to President William Ruto, who fell out with Kenyans over taxes and abductions.
President Kibaki listened and empowered his lieutenants. He was not a micromanager. He reduced taxation across the board and did away with unnecessary and prohibitive laws.
As an economist, he did not want to add more taxes. I remember he asked us to review more taxes.
And Mwai Kibaki is a living testimony that Kenyans are willing to pay taxes, but they want to see a corresponding service and development.
President Kibaki, remembered partly for the Constitution of Kenya 2010, rescuing the economy from the ruins of the Nyayo era, introducing free primary education, as well as fixing infrastructure and health sectors, was honored for his progressive thinking and respecting human rights. 12 years later, the country is crying for his soul.
You don't need to read chapter 6. You just need to follow the public life of the longest serving member of parliament so far in this country, Mwai Kibaki.
Hii serikali ni ya biashara. Watu ya intelligence wanatafuta biashara. Watu ya polisi wanatafuta biashara. Rais mwenyewe anatafuta biashara. Sasa, these are things that would make Mwai Kibaki turn in his grave.
Mwai Kibaki once met here with his friend Wamalo Kijana and his other friend Charity Ngilu. The late Kihika Kimani asked, ni nini wanaume wawili wanafanya na mwanamke mmoja kwa hoteli?
Other leaders attending the second Mwai Kibaki Memorial Lecture also honored a man whose legacy was tainted by the 2007 post-election violence. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Now, allies of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga are standing firm in their defense of the broad-based government proposal, saying it was the only realistic way to restore calm after the recent Gen Z protests. Now, they've also taken a swipe at fellow Azimio leaders who are now criticizing the plan, urging them to step up, offer real solutions and stop opposing for the sake of it. At the same time, ODM leader Raila Odinga has pointed fingers at members of parliament, blaming them for their ongoing wrangles between the national and county governments over revenue allocation. While Raila says it's regrettable that lawmakers, instead of using their budget-making power to strengthen devolution, seem determined to deny counties the resources that they need.
As a party, we cannot be in a position where we are satisfied with the status quo. We must always challenge the status quo. If you want to move ahead, as a party, we must prepare to challenge the status quo. So when you talk at the coast and you say ODM has an identity and ODM is there to participate in public affairs, including 2027, I was very happy.
Think that our way of resolving the Kenyan issue, not the right one. Let them offer a better one, not just to mention ODM all the time. ODM is going ahead whether they like it or not, whether they are there or not. So we'll move ahead. We shall continue to strengthen our party
And we condemn violence. We don't want violence in our party.
All right, now moving on, human rights groups have voiced their frustration after the Court of Appeal postponed its much-awaited judgment in a case involving sexual violence during the 2007-2008 post-election period. As Atena reports, the groups say the delay has taken a toll on the survivors, many of whom are emotionally drained and losing hope. Now, the case began in February 2013. When 6 women and 2 men filed a petition joined by 4 human rights organizations seeking justice for the state's failure to investigate and prosecute sexual and gender-based violence on December 10, 2020. Now, the High Court ruled in favor of 4 survivors, ordering the government to compensate them with 4 million shillings each. Take a look.
Survivors who have waited 17 years for justice, this delay is more than procedural. It's deeply personal. It adds yet another layer of uncertainty to a legal journey that's already been marked by prolonged silence and institutional disregard.
Recall that in 2008, the Commission of Inquiry into the 2007-2008 post-election violence, also known as the Waki Commission, recorded at least 900 cases of sexual and gender-based violence.
Instead of closure, survivors face persistent delay. The postponed judgment extends a legal process that began in 2013.
Adding to the gravity of this moment is the continued failure by the state to pay the Kenya shillings 4 million compensation award by the High Court.
All right, let's now move on to some business news. And CIC Insurance Group has trained over 250 cooperative leaders during the 2025 National Cooperative Leaders Summit. Now, the training focused on financial literacy, governance, leadership, and risk management to help cooperatives grow stronger and more sustainable. Now, speaking at the summit, Cabinet Secretary FCPA Dr. Wycliffe Oparanya underlined the critical role of cooperatives in driving financial inclusion and economic development across Kenya. CIC CEO Patrick Nyaga also reaffirmed the company's dedication to building tech-driven, resilient cooperatives. CIC aims to train 5,000 leaders by the end of 2025, strengthening a sector that already includes 14 million members and controls over 1 trillion Kenya shillings in assets.
The government remains committed to fostering an environment that supports cooperative entrepreneurship. We are focused on creating the right infrastructure, improving access to finance, and strengthening the policy and regulatory framework that govern the cooperative sector. The Cooperative Societies Bill 2024, which is currently under consideration in the Senate, is one such a reform aimed at enhancing the governance and sustainability of cooperatives.
Okay, moving on, Absa Bank Kenya has raised its lending limits under 500 million shillings partnership with Hello Tractor and John Deere, allowing more Kenyan farmers to access affordable tractor services. Now, the program, which uses Hello Tractor's mobile app, enables farmers to lease tractors and connect with service providers through a pay-as-you-use model. Now, with the initial round of funding fully used, the new extension aims to mechanize farming for over 300,000 farmers, create 3,000 new jobs, and boost food production valued at 21.4 billion shillings. Absa's Elizabeth Wasuna Ochwa said the project is not only cutting farming costs, but also promoting food security and greater involvement of women in agriculture.
Each and every farmer in this area must be able to benefit from this partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, the days of doing things in a traditional way are long passing. They are passing. We have to be able to move with the times. We have to be able to move with technology. We have to be able to produce more in the same piece of land.
Securing our county food-wise
And it can only happen when our farmers adopt modern technology.
Okay, so it's now time for some sporting action, one of my favorite segments here. So day 4 of the Brookside National Secondary School Term 1 games unfolded in Mombasa County on Thursday, with teams now gearing up for the final set for Saturday. As our reporter Duncan Mutua tells us, he's actually following the action at the coast. He reports that defending champions Dr. Agri will take on Laser Hill in the boys basketball final, promising a thrilling end to the tournament. Take a look.
Brookside Dairy Term 1 Games Highlights, brought to you by Brookside Dairy. Brookside Dairy is committed to nurturing sports talent.
Today was the day 4 of the Brookside Secondary School National Games at the Shimo Latewa High School in Mombasa County.
As sponsors, we are very delighted at the level of competition. You can almost hear the muscles twitch as the boys and girls put their best foot forward to get the eventual diadem.
Boys basketball. Champions Dr. Agri have revived. They have stand favorite Lukenya and have a date with Laser Hill, who defeated Dagoretti.
Hey, hata sina la kusema kwanza. Dagoretti wametupatia a run for our money. 2 points tumeshinda. They were a very good team, very tough.
While in the girls category, Butere have a date with Coast Region champions Kaya Tiwi.
Na Butere, we are coming for you. Haitakuwa kama last year. Tulipata na nyinyi semis, mkatufunga. This time tuko finals na nyinyi. We are coming.
We adapted so fast. Yes, and we just went with our mindset and we became mentally strong that we can have this thing and we are ready to defend the trophy.
There will be new champions in the men's rugby 15s after Kisii knocked out defending champions All Saints Embu. And now, Kisii will face Vihiga, who eliminated Nairobi champions Upper Hill.
Vihiga finals, ndio ikue wanasema mwanaume zipigwa mara mbili. Sasa ndio tunataka to face them again, tuwapatie a good game na tushinde.
In the boys handball final, defending champions St. Luke's Kimilili will face the fierce Kamito.
Naambia tu wajipange na at least wajaribu tusiwapigie mingi sana juu si tunatarajia kwa maybe tutapiga na range kubwa sana, na pia wasipojituma hakuna bao watafunga.
Hii nayo wajipange pia si tunarudi mbaya sana. Lazima tunawapiga hii finali. Wakibeba hata watakuwa wamesikia uchungu.
In the girls handball event, St. Joseph's and Tigoi will square it out in the final. In the boys hockey final, defending champions Kamusinga will play against St. Anthony Kitale, while in the girls category, St. Joseph's Kitale will lock horns with Tigoi. From 8 teams to 2 teams, tomorrow will mark the final day of the Brookside Secondary School Games here at the Shimo Latewa High School. My name is Duncan Mutua.
Brookside Dairy Term 1 Games Highlights, brought to you by Brookside Dairy. Brookside Dairy is committed to nurturing sports talent.
Thanks, Duncan. I always just love your enthusiastic reporting, Duncan Mutua. I love it. All right, so we are about to take a short commercial break, but I have some very, very good news from Betika. And Betika in a Community is actually a foundation founded by Betika in 2019. And imagine this, it has executed hundreds of projects with the overall goal of nurturing talent, supporting community projects, and supporting youth programs. Now, Bingwa Fest is a multi-sport nationwide tournament that has created a sort of Kenyan Olympics, bringing together football, rugby, athletics, basketball. Now, Bingwa Fest has been to 7 regions, that is Western, Nyanza, Lower Eastern, Rifts, Mountain, Coast, and Nairobi, and offers equal prize money to both men and women's teams in all the sports. Now, the total prize, listen to this, for all the regions is 140 million Sema pesa. Bingo Fest has not only fostered a sense of pride and unity, but has also created numerous employment opportunities by investing in local infrastructure, such as improving basketball courts in every region visited. Now, Bingo Fest has also laid the groundwork for sustainable sports development and community engagement. Man, I wish I could just get at a 2 million peke yake. I'm a 1.5. Thank you very much, Betika, for the great job that you're doing for our communities. All right. Sasa ni saa yangu ya kukunywa maji kidogo. Tumemaliza the first part of the show. But of course, oh my goodness, I am so excited to have, I need to actually have a breather. I am so happy today because, man, I have my big sister in the building. I cannot wait, of course, to just have a conversation with her. You know, I have to be very respectful because Sani Sistangu Mkubwa from the motherland. Sesmu Tungi is in the building. And we also, of course, have Willis Ocheng, who's going to be talking to us from Kisii County with the proper English pronunciations. Nakwambia, you don't say tortoise, you say totas. Sour. All right, see you after this short commercial break.